Today, Toyota recalls millions of vehicles. Hello, I'm Carla Robinson. The Toyota Motor Company is a giant multinational corporation headquartered in Japan and the world's top-selling automaker. It has manufacturing and assembly plants in 28 countries, including Canada. And just over a year ago, one of its cars was the star of the Detroit Auto Show. A more efficient gas-electric hybrid that was outselling its rivals by a wide margin.
It is also the highest mileage car sold in America.
And adding to Toyota's reputation as the world's most successful automaker. But then last November, the company announced it would replace the gas pedals on nearly 4 million recalled vehicles. And in January, it announced it had stopped making and selling 8 of its popular models because of a safety problem, a gas pedal that could stick and cause the car to accelerate out of control. As the CBC's Reg Sharon reported, that left a lot of Toyota owners in Canada wondering and worrying.
Ellen Bergman is a big fan of Toyota, always has been. This is their 2010 Corolla. Why Toyota? Well, Ellen Bergman is actually Dr. Ellen Bergman, and buying a new Toyota was simply about keeping her daughter, the main driver, safe.
I felt that she was safe and confident with it because we've had Toyotas since I first bought my first car in 1986.
Back then, it was a 1986 Celica, then a Camry, a Sienna, and now she worries a big problem. So it hasn't stuck at all?
Not yet. Crossing my fingers.
Her brand new car is one of 270,000 in Canada with what Toyota calls a rare but potential accelerator problem. Several incidents, including this one in Texas just after Christmas, led to the expanded recall. 4 people died after their car accelerated through a fence and into a pond. Toyota originally said floor mats could cause accelerators to stick, but this car's floor mats were found in the trunk. As luck would have it, Dr. Bergman had taken her Corolla in for servicing today. The dealership confirmed it was a recalled vehicle, checked it over, and told her to come back, but only if there's a problem.
The garage, and they taken outside and checked it, and they said that it seemed fine. There was nothing they could do unless it happened.
The manager at her dealership says he's waiting for further instruction from Toyota Canada on when he can replace the part.
See you later. Take care.
Daughter Kirsten will use the car for now, but Dr. Bergman says they are seriously considering switching her to another vehicle until they hear further from Toyota. You must be concerned.
I don't know what to say. She's 18. She's driving this vehicle. We bought it for safety, and now I'm not sure if she's safe.
Toyota insists the problem is rare, but says if it does happen, try steadily applying the brakes, shifting the transmission into neutral, and shutting off the engine. And it says even if the accelerator pedal appears to return to normal, don't try to drive it.
Toyota tried to reassure its customers. It said the problem was rare and it was working on a fix. But as the CBC's Havard Gould reports, for a company with a reputation for quality, it was a devastating blow.
1, 2, 3.
No matter how you measure it, Toyota's problem is huge.
6.
In Canada alone, there are 270,000 vehicles that have been recalled, and every one needs to be inspected and possibly repaired.
We're going to estimate at least 5 cars per hour. That's what we're trying to do.
Across the country, there are now showrooms full of Toyotas customers can't drive. A stunning blow to a company whose reputation rides on quality.
Well, at stake is everything they have ever gained in their history, their reputation, their brand equity, and all the other assets that they have.
Toyota's 2 Canadian plants are among the 5 stopping production next week. The problem traced to a Canadian parts manufacturer. Toyota workers say they are confident the crisis will pass.
I'm not worried. It's such a the company has a good reputation,
But as Toyota's global sales have grown, recalls and concerns about quality have quietly crept upwards too.
Certainly Toyota has gotten too big, probably too fast, and when you become a large automaker like that, you start to see the problems that can manifest themselves in a recall, and that's the point that Toyota is at.
Toyota insists it is not losing its legendary focus on quality.
This is an exceptional circumstance. We are moving at lightning speed to create that confidence with our consumers for the vehicles that they're driving and for the brand.
Toyota dealers know repairing the brand, though, may take time.
I've been in the business 31 years, so I've seen a lot of things, and we'll get through it.
And to get through the flood of recalled vehicles, this dealership is planning to have mechanics working 7 days a week around the clock.
I think the customers will hopefully feel that we're there for them.
A feeling Toyota used to be able to take for granted. Havard Gould, CBC News, Toronto.
While Toyota tried to solve the problem, many of its Canadian customers were left wondering what to do.
Not very happy. Safety is quite an issue for me.
Wondering whether their car was safe to drive.
It's quite a concern to think that you could be in a situation where your accelerator is jammed and you can't stop the car.
Then in early February, Toyota said it had come up with a quick fix. Mechanics would install a metal bar to prevent accelerator pedals from sticking, and the company began a public relations offensive.
My family members drive Toyotas. My friends and neighbors drive Toyotas. I would not have them in products that I knew were not safe.
What you're saying to the public is, look, the boys at the very top get the message, they're on it, they're going to take care of this issue.
But then came doubts about the cause of the problem and more trouble in the United States. Here again is the CBC's Havard Gould.
This driver doesn't trust his recalled Toyota or the company that made it. Confidence dropped off days ago.
I don't really believe them when they say they're doing the best thing for the customer, though.
Toyota's reputation took a huge hit today in Washington, where for a time, Americans were actually advised to park their recalled Toyotas, millions of them, to wait for repairs.
My advice is, if anybody owns one of these vehicles, stop driving it.
The transportation secretary later reversed himself, but the damage was already done. There may be more ahead, because now U.S. authorities are investigating another possible cause of acceleration problems.
But we've also had complaints about the electronics. We will be investigating the electronic components that are in these cars to make sure that they are safe.
There are theories software glitches and interference from cell phones could cause cars to speed up out of control. And when Toyota's first gas pedal problems came up years ago, they were blamed on floor mats. The company said jammed pedals. Now even that is being questioned. And to top it off, there are new concerns about Toyota's crown jewel, the hybrid Prius, which is being investigated after numerous complaints of failing brakes.
We regret any loss of peace of mind that this recall may have caused.
Toyota officials weren't giving interviews today, but in a statement, the company denied its accelerator problems are electronic. Toyota has never found an incident of unintended acceleration caused by the vehicle's computer electronic control unit, the statement said. They had better be right. The mechanical fix is now starting to go in. At least one U.S. dealer installing metal shims today, something the company says will prevent pedals from developing a dangerous tendency to stick. But the whole story is being doubted by safety experts, including one very famous one.
And now the presumption in engineering circles in the United States is they've got to deal with the electronic throttle problem.
A few days later, that throttle problem also became a brake problem. Toyota recalled more than 400,000 Prius and Lexus hybrids after some owners reported that hitting bumps stopped the brakes from working for a moment. The company's president apologized.
We will do everything in our power to regain the confidence of our customers.
But this latest problem had some experts wondering whether cars are becoming too complicated.
Try and take it out.
Dave Redinger is a mechanic and opinionated auto expert, a man who has seen recalls rising as cars have become more sophisticated.
Are today's cars too complicated for our own good?
Absolutely, yeah. They're getting to a point where they really are so complicated. They're basically computers on wheels.
Without electronic systems, the cars of yesterday weren't nearly as safe or fuel efficient, but they didn't have as many things that could go wrong. Case in point, the latest big recall by Honda for airbags. Safety technology once unavailable, now taken for granted.
The complexity of cars is such that the interface between electronic and mechanical systems, not to mention the nut behind the wheel, makes the automobile such a complicated piece of technology things are bound to go wrong.
And they do in big ways, as Toyota's recalls have shown. Now, some auto analysts are predicting many more because other automakers have seen the way Toyota is being heavily criticized for not moving quickly enough.
We are going to hold Toyota's feet to the fire when it comes to these recalls.
This diagram.
Some Canadian researchers, however, believe regulations are out of sync. They argue with so many electronic systems now in cars, key ones like brakes, often controlled by software, a new type of safety standard should be set.
Car manufacturers have to submit their designs with evidence that they're safe, as is done in the nuclear industry, as is done in aviation.
This is just a simple plain Jane car.
Back at the garage, Redinger looks under the hood of a 13-year-old car.
But it's got ABS computer, it's got fuel injected.
Has it gone too far?
I certainly believe that, yeah. Used to be where things are mechanical or easy to repair.
But with car companies looking for every edge and governments wanting more safety features, less pollution, and better fuel economy, there's apparently no going back now, just plenty of recalls.
Then in early March came another public relations disaster.
A tale of terror, high speed, and high tension. He tried in vain to stop the wild ride.
A Prius owner in California called 911 saying his car was out of control.
It wasn't stopped, it wasn't doing anything to it, and just kept speeding up.
My car, I can't slow down.
Police responded and tried to help.
I could smell the brakes. I saw his brake lights coming on.
Nobody was hurt, but the images flashed around the world were a marketing nightmare.
It almost looks to me like something which was scripted by Hollywood. So if I was running Toyota, I'd be very, very upset.
Toyota fought back.
To say this incident was sensationalized would be an enormous understatement.
It said its investigation showed the brakes were working fine, and if the driver had pressed them harder, the engine would have turned off automatically.
Toyota believes there are significant inconsistencies between the account of the event of March 8th and the findings of this investigation.
But the incident fueled suspicions that some Toyotas have electronic glitches.
Anytime there is a sudden acceleration incident on a Toyota, the manufacturer will be under the gun.
It's really starting to feed in and fuel a sense that possibly Toyota really doesn't know what the situation is.
Toyota denies that, and in late March, the company did get some good news. Sales of Toyota cars in Canada were up 25% in February. Experts said that showed the company had a very loyal customer base. But they also warned that if the company didn't move to quickly put its problems behind it, that loyalty could be seriously damaged. And that's News in Review. Don't forget to check out our website at newsinreview.cbclearning.ca. I'm Carla Robinson. Thanks for watching. It's Canada's game, but is it too violent?
Is it going to take somebody else to pass away for a change to be made? No one's certain, right? You know, something has to be done.
It's Rock'em Sock'em Robots. And why isn't more being done to make it safer?
Fighting's part of the game. It's been a part of the game. It's the nature of the game.
On News in Review today, taking the violence out of hockey. Hello, I'm Carla Robinson. In February, Canada's Olympic hockey team won a gold medal at the Vancouver Games, and the whole country went wild. Canadians were proud of the team and proud of the game they invented. But only a few weeks later, National Hockey League managers met to discuss how to cut down on hits to the head. And this time, there was nothing to cheer about, because the struggle to make hockey a safer game has been a long and difficult one. 50 years ago, when Jacques Plante became the first goalie to wear a mask, he was ridiculed and insulted.
He's not the inventor of the mask, but I call him the champion of the mask, because what he had to go through, I mean, he got called those names.
And the same thing happened with hockey helmets. The NHL only made them mandatory after most players were using them. But the greatest threats to players are cheap shots and fighting, not just in the NHL, but also in the junior leagues and even in the minor leagues. Like this bench-clearing brawl between 8-year-old hockey players in Ontario a few years ago that had some warning about the future of the game.
The reality is next year, the year after, parents who are new to the game are going to come in and go, you remember that incident? Yeah, I don't know if I want my son or daughter into hockey because of this.
Police investigated this incident, but no charges were laid. Most of the time, the fights end harmlessly with both players in the penalty box. But just over a year ago, one ended tragically when a young player was killed in Ontario. The CBC's Stephen D'Souza has that story.
It was a fight Don Sanderson couldn't win, and early this morning, he died from an injury he got playing the game he loved.
Just a wonderful guy to be around, a fierce competitor, and a guy that just loved to play hockey. That was his passion, his family, and hockey.
The 21-year-old played for the Whitby Dunlops in a league made up of former pro and semi-pro players, a league where fighting gets you an automatic game misconduct. Sanderson was hurt in a game 3 weeks ago. He was involved in a fight. His helmet fell off. He was then knocked backwards onto the ice, landing directly on his head. Sanderson was in a coma for 3 weeks before he died. The incident caused shockwaves in the hockey community, with thousands of emails and messages of support coming in from across North America and Europe, both to the team's website and on a Facebook group dedicated to Sanderson. But it's also raised questions about players